Hello everyone, I'm Gracia Tasio, and this video is about the people who have ascendant Cancer and how the sky in 2020 will look for you and which are the main celestial events that will influence you. Now, according to the Sidereal astrology, which is also the Vedic astrology, ascendant Cancer is tropically most probably Leo. So if you know that according to the modern Western astrology, you have ascending sign, rising sign Leo, then this video is for you. It is about Sidereal Cancer. Now I will mention the most important celestial events, which for me will be, of course, the aspects and the transits of the slow, heavy planets like Saturn, for example. Also the phases, which will be whether there will be retrogrades, stationary, visible or invisible. The invisibility or the visibility of the planets is something very important to consider and was considered by the ancient astrologers, because when the planet appears too near the sun, then we don't see the planet literally on the sky anymore. And this first appearance of the planet after it leaves the closeness to the sun, this first appearance is very important and usually brings results in events, manifests in events for us on Earth. So I'm looking also at this particular celestial events and how they influence ascendant Cancer, Sidereal or tropical Leo. Also, of course, I will mention the eclipses which will take place in 2020, just to mention them. Now, the eclipses is something that is happening often every year. We have per year from 2 to 7 eclipses approximately which take place, and there is nothing to worry about, but it's important to mention them. The eclipses are not auspicious events, because this is a darkening, either darkening of the moon or of the sun. When luminary is darkened, of course, this is not very auspicious, but it comes with the permission of the Creator, so it's good. It is good for our spirituality, for the growth of our souls. So everything actually which happens is perfect, because it comes with the permission of the Creator. This will be the most, of course, important conjunctions. I will also talk about, we're having important conjunctions, Pluto, Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, which will take place in 2020. Now, before I start, another important note to make. This is, of course, very general overview of your year for the ascendant Cancer, because every person's horoscope is unique, absolutely unique. It cannot be repeated. So, of course, this will be general. If you like to see in detail with mentioning important future specific events according to your own birth date, your own personal chart, then you may contact me for personal consultations, and the link to my consultation page is under this video. So let's see the most important events that will take place for ascendant Cancer. Now, first of all, very important is that already in November, Jupiter entered his own place, Sagittarius. This is an amazing event, because only once per 12 years Jupiter is entering his own place, and your ascendant Cancer loves Jupiter, because Cancer is the place where Jupiter is exalted, the hidden place of Jupiter, the place of exaltation. Jupiter entered your 6th house. What is this meaning? He is going to stay there for approximately 1 year. He will be living there also, I think, 25th of November 2020. Jupiter will leave your 6th house to enter your 7th house. Until he will be in your 6th house, he will bring some peace in relation to conflicts. For example, if you had ongoing conflicts or diseases that you want to to solve, maybe Jupiter will bring some help. Another thing is very important that until 30th of January, Jupiter is invisible. So if you say, yes, but I do not feel yet the powerful influences of Jupiter, this has reasons. This is because when a planet is too near the sun, invisible, then we do not really literally powerfully experience the influences of this planet. So you may feel the influences of Jupiter much better after 30th of January. This is another important thing. Another very, very important, significant, I consider this the most significant event of the year, along with the one of Jupiter entering Sagittarius, is the fact that Saturn is entering his own sign, Capricorn, also the last days of January 2020. What is this meaning? This is something very, very significant because it will for sure manifest in events for all of us. Imagine Saturn is the most important lord because Saturn has the highest position of the celestial spheres. He's very high, which puts him in a high hierarchy. And Saturn, who is the lord of karma, lord of discipline, lord of time, lord of tears, he's the one who makes sure that justice is brought, that the karmic lessons are being learned. So Saturn had his tour all over the zodiac from sign to sign and up until finally he is back home to see, to bring regulation, to bring justice, and this is his home. This is the sign of Capricorn. And for you, this is your 7th house. So this is very important because this will directly influence your ascendant. This will influence most probably your personal life. This will bring justice in court cases if you had some. This will bring this will resolve issues. This will resolve, for example, disagreements. So Saturn, how exactly this will happen depends on how your Saturn is placed in your natal chart. It depends on so many factors. It depends on whether you're born in the day or at night, because Saturn is diurnal planet and Saturn operates differently in the daily horoscopes and also in the night horoscopes. So how exactly this will manifest depends very much on the placement of your natal Saturn. In any case, the ideal case is that Saturn goes back home and he is there to bring justice. So everything that was not fixed, not finalized, he's going to come and fix and finalize. You can imagine if you make a comparison with you traveling for a very long time and you left your house alone without any person being there and then you just go back home and you see what is the condition, what is the situation of the house that you left. So he's coming to see how you lived. Did you maintain high moral values? Did you were you disciplined in the broad idea of the discipline, depending also on your natal chart. So he is basically comes to bring justice in any sense of the word. And this is your 7th house. He can bring justice for good in your private relationship, because the 7th house is about our agreements and our relationships, and also your romantic relationship, your partnerships, your personal romantic partner. He could, if you had disagreements, he could come and bring peace. But again, depends how he is placed. Or he could come and bring separation. This is also not impossible. But again, depends how Saturn is placed on your natal charts, which aspects he makes, which aspects he receives. He could bring you new people into your life. He could bring marriage with this, going back into his home, in the house that he's ruling. He could bring settlements, agreements, new contracts, many, many things that all pertain to the 7th house, and it will be all for finalizing and starting over. It will be very, very important and certainly not bad. Even if we don't like some manifestations of the influences of Saturn, they are always made for the good, for the sake of our souls, so that we grow spiritually and find our higher self. So in any case, it is good. In any case, it is lesson. Now, this is about Saturn entering. Another very, very important thing is that on 2nd of 4th of February, excuse me, Venus is entering her exaltation point, where she will be until 1st of March, and this is the place of your ninth house. Venus is entering your ninth house, and this is beautiful for sure, because Venus is benefic planet. She will receive in the meantime sextile aspect from Saturn and square from Mars, from Jupiter, and this is not bad. The square from Jupiter is not bad, but the sextile from your 7th house is also not bad. This could support your private relationship, this could support your studies, your money, your gains. This could support your relationship with people abroad, travel, spiritual awareness for good. It's in any case something very auspicious, because Venus from there will be aspecting your ascendant. So this will be positive for certain. Another thing is that, very important thing is that on 10th of February, Mars is entering also Sagittarius, where he will meet Jupiter. Now, this is going to be your 6th house, and once again, depending on your natal chart, this could be winning. This could be a very winning situation, that you may win some battles, if such, in your routine environment with subordinates or disputes, or this could create some disharmonies. In any case, this will bring events in relation to your 6th house, to your routine. A lot may happen, busyness. And on 1st of March, Saturn becomes visible, because indeed, end of January, Saturn is entering your 7th house. But during this period, from end of January up until 1st of March, approximately, because depends a little bit on where are you exactly located, Saturn is staying invisible. When invisible, he operates on a different level. We physically don't see him on the sky, and physically he's also not very much present into our lives. He will be a bit like operates more on a subtle level, more on intrinsic level. He could create some even tension if badly placed, and tension which will not appear evidently, which can appear later when he becomes visible. So on 1st of March, Saturn becomes visible. This period, like 7 days before 1st of March and until 7 days after 1st of March, be a little bit diplomatic, very intuitive, very much connected to the spirit world, so that you're on the safe side. This is not very, very auspicious period, the heliacal appearance of Saturn, because his appearance is like he's shining again in his own house, and the sense of justice that he will bring is more, will be felt in more powerful way compared to the energies that he brings only by entering his sign of Capricorn. Because yes, he enters Capricorn end of January, but he's still hidden in the rays of the sun, though on the 1st of March, he's visible physically. We will see him appearing in the rays of the sun as a morning star. So approximately around this period, be a little bit cautious, very, very diplomatic, loving at home and with partners as well. And then on, I mentioned about Venus, yes, and some nice spirit is that on 1st of March until 28th of March, Venus is entering your 10th house, and this could be a good blessing and create good environment at work in relation to communication with superiors, could give some peace and harmony at your work. And then on 20th of March, we're having this interesting conjunction between Mars, Jupiter, and Pluto. this is happening. This is quite interesting, and during this period, be a little bit diplomatic and don't share much with subordinates. Just keep your routine environment very be very intuitive and very diplomatic with the people around you. And then you have on the 29th of March, Venus is entering Taurus, and this is brilliant because from there, with all her beauties and powers, she will be aspecting your ascendant to make sure that you receive good gains, that you have luck in general, that it is auspicious for everything, for children. It's just something very good. This will be a period of time also very auspicious for creation of Venus talismans, because she will be very powerful in her own sign. And you may see the link to my talismans under this video. And then in the beginning of April, the first week of April, we are having the conjunction between Pluto and Jupiter, another period when you may need to be a little bit cautious with subordinates, with the people in your routine and environment. And then let's see the further important events on my list. On 15th of April, Mars enters his exaltation, the Sun enters, his exaltation point, and this is also good. This can influence for good your career, your work environment. And on a very interesting, very auspicious event is that on 9th of May, Mercury becomes visible, rises heliacally on your 11th house. And there Mercury will be with Venus. This is very nice. This will continue until 1905, 19th May. The Sun is also nearby, so it's quite auspicious period for you. Also considering the trine from Saturn, it is a very auspicious period for your career, for the social circle, for your incomes. Quite good period, very creative. Could be that if you have encoded in your chart talents, that you receive the muse to create, to communicate. It is just something that is a true blessing and is very good for gains and incomes. On approximately in the middle of May, the most important, they're all important, but the important planets become stationary and then retrograde. Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus almost in the same period of time, count from 15th May until 16th of, well, this is another thing, but count first from 15th of May. Saturn, Jupiter, and Venus become stationary and then retrograde. Things may be slowed down. Things in your work environment. Things with your relationships and agreements. So keep in mind that if you see that things are getting a little bit more difficult and slow down, be patient, be very diplomatic, very spiritual. It is possible that Saturn and Jupiter are having this retrograde phase exactly to teach us patience, to bring us back to reanalyze our philosophical, spiritual value system and belief system. And this could be actually a very auspicious period for our souls. And then on 28th of June, Jupiter is coming back to his own sign, being retrograde. He was for a while in, I forgot to say, on 15th April, he enters Capricorn, and on 28th of June, he comes back to his own sign of Sagittarius. And then a very important, very brilliant event, another event which is extremely auspicious for the creation of Mercurian talismans, event that I've been waiting for quite some time, is when on 28th of July, Mercury becomes visible for the first time in his own sign of Gemini. And for you, this can be very esoteric, very powerful, could help you to win over hidden enemies or people that you have some disputes or disagreements with, could help you in many good ways. And on 30th of May, for 1 month approximately, up until 16th of June, Venus will be invisible. Venus invisible, count good, 30th of May until 16th of June, invisible Venus, and this is when she will appear in Taurus, and this is so that she will be retrograde and invisible. This is not auspicious very much for no one, for the private and love life. It's not very auspicious for the finances. This will afflict the markets in general, and also on personal level, of course, for each and every person. Keep this in mind, that it's not very appropriate period to invest money. It's good to plan, it's good, but not really to play on the market, to invest money, because it depends actually how and what you're doing. But this is a period when you may have this can create instabilities and financial issues. And then on very important date is on 17th of September, Jupiter finally becomes direct in his own sign on your 6th house, and this is very good. This can bring the peace back into your work environment, help you if you had some health disharmonies. And then on 14th of September, Mars is entering your 10th house, also could bring new energies into your career, and actually could be something nice. And then let's see further events. On 10th of October, we also have Saturn, who becomes direct on your 7th house. And this is nice because this will bring already, if you felt that everything is slowed down, that your private life is a little bit suffering with the retrograde Saturn, who is too slow, now he comes direct to help you solve things. And this is on 10th of October, where he will be direct already for quite some time. And then on the 18th of November until 12th of December, Venus is entering your 4th house, very auspicious for your home, for your, if you work at home, very auspicious for improving relationships with parents if needed, for example, for this can influence for good your career. So this is something very nice. And then on 25th of November, Jupiter is leaving your 6th house and is entering your 7th house, 25th of November. And then Jupiter will be staying on your 7th house for 1 year from 25th of November. Actually, this is very nice. This is a beautiful event because even though he is considered to be detriment there, being against his sign of exaltation, which is your ascendant, still Jupiter on the 7th house is always good because he will always bring some blessing to your relationships, to your agreements, to your home. So I see this as something good. Even though he's considered detriment, you will see that from your 7th house, he will directly aspect your ascendant. And this is by no means bad. And another event which I had was that on the 14th of November, I forgot to mention this, Mars direct is already entering your 9th house, Pisces, and actually this is he becomes direct, so this is something positive. But on your 9th house, Pisces, he's a little bit peregrine. He doesn't have any specific rulership or any specific dignities, but he can bring some energies for negotiations, business, studies, travel, but keep in mind that Mars on the 9th house is not very auspicious, not very harmonious. So don't be very impulsive, be patient, give attention to every detail. So these were the most important celestial events. If I have to describe the year, actually it is good because you may be very for good influenced by the transit of Saturn over your 7th house, because Saturn can be very good if we are organized, if we're disciplined, if we really have good perception and understanding of good and bad and moral values. Then Saturn is not harming people. Jupiter on your 6th house in his own place can help you with solving issues, with disputes and diseases. So actually the year can certainly bring important events, because we have only one time per 30 years when Saturn is entering his 7th house, his own kingdom of Capricorn, and it will certainly bring events. How exactly, I told you, this can be seen only in your natal chart, but in any case, this can be justice, this can be good, this can be something that will bring you satisfactory results. So these were the most important celestial events. Now I will only mention, luckily to start with, when we're talking about eclipses, the eclipses this year are not, in the year of 2020, are not afflicting the axis of Cancer Capricorn. So if you're having ascendant in Capricorn or in Cancer, Sun, Moon, in these signs, then you're not really afflicted by the eclipses. And I don't really watch aspects that the eclipses make, because these are weak influences. But certainly if ascendant is afflicted by eclipse, or luminary Sun and Moon, then this is very important. However, this year the eclipses are 6. They take place on the axis of Gemini, Sagittarius, and Scorpio, Taurus, and that's it. And these are sidereal coordinates. So the first eclipse is happening on 10-11 of January. It's partial lunar, and the axis of Gemini, Sagittarius is involved. This would a little bit afflict your work environment. So there you may need to be really diplomatic and careful. Then you're having another partial eclipse, which is happening on 5th and 6th of June, afflicting, it's a lunar again, it's afflicting the axis of Scorpio, Taurus, and this is influencing your 11th, 5th houses, can influence your communication with children, so be attentive with them, and also a little bit your love life, and a bit your luck for a while. But if it's not afflicting the ascendant, it's certainly, the influences are less evident. And then we have in solar, partial solar, which is happening on the 21st of June on your, in Gemini, your 12th house, a bit responsible for your health, but certainly when the ascendant, as I say, or moon and sun are not afflicted, the influences are not so heavily felt. And then we are having on 4th and 5th July partial lunar eclipse, again the same axis, Sagittarius, Gemini, and then another eclipse, lunar, 29th, 30th of November, afflicting your Taurus, Scorpio, which is again a little bit finances and luck. There you may need a little bit, like when you will be, for example, expecting huge financial results, could be that your luck is a little bit afflicted, but this is temporary. And then you're having finally the total solar eclipse happening in Scorpio in your 5th house on the 14th of December. Now this is the good news, is, as I say, the axis of your ascendant, the ascendant is not afflicted. However, I needed to mention the eclipses. They are important celestial events, not to be underestimated, not at all. Approximately around the timing of the eclipses, first of all, it's not appropriate to watch them. Whatever you hear in the modern media, I'm telling you, it's not appropriate. This can bring back bad luck. And also, around the time of eclipses, it's not good to make like new important initiatives, new businesses, surgical interventions during time of eclipse is not appropriate. But as I said, for you, this is not so dramatic, because the most important axis of your ascendant is not afflicted. So Thank you for your attention. As I say, this is general. If I have to, these are of course not all celestial events, but celestial events which I consider important and very much influencing your ascendant Cancer in particular. So your comments are very welcome. See you soon.